take some questions, offer some feedback and insight based off of what you guys are going through. And yeah, anybody have any cool wins or accomplishments, achievements to share from the past couple weeks? It's always great to celebrate, celebrate our wins. It's not always about focusing on the negativity and what we haven't done yet. So feel free to unmute yourself if you're open to sharing. And yeah, cool. So cool. Robin got that TV screen. I love it. I want one. Since our last call, I feel more energized. I love to hear that, Christina. Um, are you willing to share what you think actually brought about those benefits? Maybe we can all learn a little something here. What do you think actually contributed to you having more energy this week? You can type it or you can actually get on and speak so we can all know that, we're humans and have that real connection because we're on computer screens here.
Yeah, so I I think what helped me was that I took the time to rest more since our last call, the tips that you gave. I took the time to rest more, and then I actually kind of fasted a bit. Like some of those days I wasn't eating as much, which I think allowed my body to rest more, and it just put me into a position where um I don't know, eventually over time I just felt more energized. So I think rest, taking the extra time to like really rest, because I don't think it's too many people on this lifestyle talk about implications of why rest is so necessary and vital for our healing. So I think that is what helped rest, and then just uh, doing a bit of fasting as well, and uh, eating more fruit, less starch. I think
Nice.
those things help me. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, that sounds amazing. Sounds like digestive rest, more physical rest, whether that's sleeping. And would you say when you say rest, you mean like slept more, or did you actually just not expend as much physical energy doing stuff and like had waking time rest, like meditation, just lounging around, was it more sleep or were it more just like taking it easy when you're awake?
I think a combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I definitely took the time to like actually lay down more and not spend so much time just moving around, like just doing a whole bunch of stuff. Uh, but yeah, so like laying down, so like, but also like sleep rest too. Um, not being so quick to get up in the mornings, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I think those things help.
Super. I'm so excited. Congratulations on increasing that energy this week through the simplicity of more rest, um, lighter, cleaner eating. And yeah, it's just so important. Like, I do feel like everything is connected, comes back to our intestinal health and our intestinal flow and the ability for energy to flow through us and not get blocked and caught up messing with our food, our undigested waste. Because these things like steal oxygen from us and we just need that battery to be able to fully charge. So that's really, really cool. And I hope that benefited, everyone else in the call if they've ever been struggling with, just a little bit of fatigue or especially environmentally, like changing your environment and going through lifestyle shifts and or lifestyle events. Um, yeah, it's really important to actually prioritize a little bit more rest so that your nervous system can acclimatize and reacclimate to where you're at and what you're doing. So kudos. William, any particular wins this week or Robin? feel free to actually just say no in the chat so we can move on and we'll address some more stuff. All right. So if we're not, if we're not,
The major,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, did I interrupt?
No, please. I was waiting for you, bro.
Oh, okay. All right. So you asked about wins. I think it's, realizing that I've had something deeper, like addiction to food is a major thing. So getting over addictions to food and really accomplishing saying no overall to a lot of the things that I like to eat but are not good for me.
Okay. Sorry, I was muted. Okay. So yeah, you're saying like, this particular win was actually you just feeling more empowered and actually successfully saying no to some of those objectionable foods that you normally succumb to. You've actually been more successful at the willpower and the discipline to say no. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the main thing for me. The main thing for me over years has been the uh, self self discipline part, and it's been kind of hard when you eat a certain way for decades, and so
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, just saying saying no
Hmm.
was a big leap for me, even being vegetarian. Um, I went from I started out as strict vegetarian, Dr. Sabi, and then I went to being a carbitarian, and then the processed foods with Beyond Meats and all that stuff. I don't want to get into that a lot, but lately I have found myself like, okay, we need to go back to what we need to do, and so I've gotten to a point where I don't feel some kind of way saying no.
Yeah. It's not no fear of missing out. You actually, instead of saying no to something you think you want, you're actually saying yes to what you really want. Right.
All right, that's correct.
I love to hear that, brother. And cool. So that's great. We got some wins, some celebrations, and everyone knows that we're moving forward the direction that we want to go. So slowly but steadily, we're getting to the top of that mountain at our own pace. And it's important to recognize where we've come from and where we're at, and not be so focused on where we want to go and how we're not there or whatever the case. We are where we are, and we're enjoying the journey. So super congratulations, bro. Okay, so I just want to open it up for any particular, we can call it goals, like what you're wanting to accomplish in the next 7 days, 4 weeks, 3 months. And it can be goals or just something you've actually been struggling with recently that you really want to like get unstuck. So, if anyone has anything like that, just a goal that you'd like to share with the group and would like some support with in the group, and also just support from me so I can actually help you with that goal. Or, it could be something you're struggling with and you want to know how to get unstuck. So, the floor is open, guys.
I'll go. I'll say that one goal that I have is to, so like where I live, like when I'm by myself, like I tend to eat more raw, but like once I'm around other people or like I go to like the town, I just find myself eating like more cooked foods. And then with that, I don't really know, all of the ingredients that they're putting into the food. So I've just been experiencing some indigestion or just like any stomach issues, um, or like just not feeling as optimal. And so one of my goals is to, when I do come to town, to like stay on raw, and just see like how that benefits me, or like what happens with that, because I just want to feel good in my body but I recognize that like there's just so much temptation around me. So yeah, that's my goal to like when I'm out and about or around other people to continue eating raw foods.
Okay, awesome. So if I'm internalizing this correctly, it's really maintaining your consistency of being raw, which sounds like it's what you want to do and it's what you like doing when you're alone, and maintaining that consistency when presented with social situations or an environmental change. Is that correct?
Yes, because where I currently am at, like I don't really get that external. I'm not seeing like all of these restaurants and stuff like that. And so it's easy for me to just be focused on like what's in front of me, or what I have access to versus when I'm in town, I smell the smells, everything smells good.
Hmm.
I have my ideal places that I want to eat and stuff like that. So I just really want to be able to bypass all of those cravings and like go straight to what it is that like my body is actually craving, which is hydration and nourishment.
Okay. Wow, that's beautiful. Okay, so let's explore that a little bit here on the call for with everyone, because I'm sure you're probably not the only one um, that's challenged by those situations. I can personally relate to that a whole lot. Like, it's not that I feel guilty after um, giving into temptations or giving into deviating from my normal straight and narrow path. Um, but there is just the awareness that like I don't actually feel as amazing as I like to normally feel in the long run, even though I've taken on this short term instant gratification of maybe a snack or a dining out meal. So I totally can relate to that desire to maybe be more consistent when proposed with temptation in social situations. And if anyone else has a question, if you don't want to forget it, you can post it in the chat or raise your hand, and I'll be sure so you don't forget your thing. But maybe everyone's cool to dive into this right now. Um, so it sounds like what do we, it's like, what do we want, right? And for me, what really helps is preparation, like what is a proper preparation or poor preparation. Piss poor preparation gives you a piss poor performance, and proper planning gives you a perfect performance, so to speak. So planning properly is right, and when we don't have a plan, oh, then we have to dig into our bag, kind of impromptu, and figure out something on the fly based off of current emotional like things that we're dealing with. So I would ask, like, do you, in the past, like, have you been having a plan when you know you're going to go into these social situations or these temptational situations? Like, do you have a plan and not stick to it? Or are you actually just not having a plan and just observing that when you don't have this plan and you deviate, that these are the results that you get? You understand my question? Is there a plan that you're not sticking to, or is there no plan and you're just observing the consequences of having no plan?
Yeah, so it's no plan, and I'm observing the consequences of having no plan. Yeah,
Okay.
like I don't really prepare. I haven't, when I go into town, like I don't really prepare, to like I don't think about what I'm gonna eat. I don't even think about being really there. The only thing I think about is what I have to do while I'm there. So, um, yeah, that's probably like the bulk of where my struggle is coming from. It's just like not having a plan going into these environments or in these social situations.
Okay. So, do you imagine that in the future, having a plan and a backup plan, right? Because like, what do I do when I'm not able to stick to the plan? What do I then? So, do you imagine that having a plan would actually empower you to stick more to this goal in your next opportunity?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will.
Hmm.
Um, because then I'm able to direct and guide my energy versus like not really knowing where I'm gonna land, just going
Mm,
into town and then smelling the good smells
mhm.
and like just going like moving based off of emotion instead of like really being strategic.
Okay, I hear you. And okay, so does that give you some clarity to kind of move forward for right now?
Yes, so like just having a plan when I go into town and yeah, it
Okay,
it helps. Yeah.
okay. And what do you imagine that plan looks like? Just theoretically, we have to experiment things and then see if it works. But yeah, what do you imagine a good plan looks like? Because you know what the triggers will be. You know the environment. You know the circumstances. So now being able to control what we can control, what do you imagine will work for you in order to stick to your guns, so to speak? And you know you're going to smell something. You know you're maybe going to want something. What do you think will actually, what tool in the circumstance will actually help you? What's a good plan?
Definitely making sure that when I leave the house, I'm stocked up on food, on snacks and, whatever. And then
Hmm.
once I go into town, um, I don't know, because it's like once I get into town, then I just feel more open. I guess what I could do would be like rather than going to the restaurants, I can just go to the markets and like stock up on fruit or just have like, because like when I go into town, like typically I have like an ideal food in mind, which is like literally some dense starch. So instead of thinking about that, like thinking about all of the places that do have other alternatives so that like if I'm not going to the market to get fruit, at least the thing that's coming into my mind initially is the healthier options of
Mm,
what I could potentially get instead of
right.
like going to the extreme and like, going
Mm,
for the potatoes, and
mm.
stuff like that.
Yeah. So really just knowing, like actually focusing on what you want. And
Yeah.
um, it sounds like in the past, because you've just been experimenting, it sounds like. So it's not that you knew or thought that something was going to be good or bad for you. You actually had this subconscious goal of deviating from your diet, technically. And now you've experienced the consequences of that. And it's like, I think I want to try something differently. So now you're going to experiment with actually just planning to actually have something maybe raw and hydrating and just being prepared, knowing that there's going to be these temptation options, but there's also going to be the things that serve me and nourish me. And I can actually just focus on that and be prepared and do that. Does that sound right?
Yeah, because like now that we're having this talk, and I'm so happy and grateful that, you've opened the space for us to have this dialogue and to go deeper.
Restaurant asked for butter and garlic sauce, crazy
Mute.
sauce.
Stop. Hold on.
The
Okay.
man,
Look, he over here. Look, he like, screw it. I'm gonna get some.
Garlic
Anyway.
sauce. But anyways, yeah, like I'm happy that we're having this dialogue because I just didn't think about these things. And so like now that I think about it, like you're right. Like my focus, for instance, like I said, going to town, like already at the forefront of my mind, I'm thinking about empanadas, and all of the good, delicious food that I don't have at home. Like at home, I'm eating raw, and in town, it's like a candy land. So it's like now that I'm bringing my awareness to what my focus has been, I can shift the focus to focusing on what I actually want, which is to continue eating fruit while no matter where I'm at. So um yeah, like because that's now at the forefront of my mind, I can see how like if I come into town, if my number one goal is to go to the hit up the market, and then the secondary, if I don't get to that, going to like maybe a juice spot or something like that where I can just get some good quality juice or smoothie or a nice salad or raw meal or
Mhm.
something like that. I think that that will be more beneficial than to like have no aim at all and just not really knowing where I'm gonna land.
Wow. Beautiful. Well, excited to see how your new plan implements and turns out. And be excited to hear that there's maybe some wins and celebrations to share next week. So awesome. Um, yeah, I want to take a moment to recognize that Ryan has just joined the call. And so Ryan, what we did so far is that we just shared a few wins or celebrational accomplishments or achievements that we've had over the past week, or just things that we can pat ourselves on the back for right now. If we succeeded at any of our goals, if we have moved ourselves forward in anything that we've been trying to accomplish, everyone in the group has already shared some things that they were really happy about and excited that they achieved. So I think Christina shared that she was, I forgot actually. Christina, do you remember your win?
My win was that I feel more energized from
Yeah,
our
'cause
last conversation because I was feeling like very sluggish and didn't have too much energy.
yeah. So last week, Christina was lacking energy, and that was her challenge that she wanted to get more guidance with. And this week, she actually shared that she actually feels and felt more energized this week. And actually, what she attributes that to is actually getting more rest, sleeping, more waking rest, and just not being as active when she's awake. And also a little bit of digestive rest where has not been eating as heavily or as often or as densely as she was in previous weeks. So that was her achievement, and she actually was clear on what brought that benefit into her awareness. William shared that he accomplished it. He's really proud that he actually has been able to say no to the things that he doesn't want to eat, to the things that he knows don't serve his goals, and not feeling guilty or feeling this fear of missing out. He actually feels really empowered that, like, yo, I'm actually able to say no to bad foods and eat good, better foods and feel good about that and not feel like deprived or restricted or anything like that. So correct me if I misquoted you or misspoke, William. So that was his actual accomplishment and achievement. And I didn't ask him why does he think that that's like, what does he think has attributed to that? But I imagine he's just been on this journey for a while and done some yo-yoing and being on vegetarian and Dr. Sebi diet. And after a while, you just get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And honestly, you probably get sick and tired of shooting yourself in the foot. So I imagine it's just like, yo, having this amount of self-love that allows you to choose what's going to nourish you and to feel good about. So he said, "Oh, I feel proud that I've been able to say no to what's bad." But I'm like, you're actually just proud. You're actually just actually saying yes to what's good. And feel free to expound on that a little bit more, William. But hopefully that's clear.
Well, that was very clear. Um, the thing that I had to do was to choose ultimately myself.
Hmm.
Um, I had people that I hung out with, still do, but I had to excuse myself from maybe going to some of the restaurants that I wanted to go to, or excuse myself from, you know, even when I'm alone, like the young lady said earlier, going to certain restaurants, which I know are not conducive to my health. And um, I had to learn how to make the right decisions, even if it, flew in the face of going out or being outside, as the kids say, because I like to go outside too. But when you are doing something of this nature and you're facing self discipline, which it is, to a certain degree, you have to make the right choice, keeping it positive for yourself, and you have to make the right choice 24/7. And once again, I've struggled with not hard addiction, but several different addictions from entertainment and all this other stuff. And, you know, when you put yourself in situations where things keep you thinking about the bad stuff, then you have to put yourself in a situation constantly. And it's an ongoing journey of making the right decisions. Sometimes that may mean um, letting go of friendships, letting go of family members, letting go of certain habits or creature comforts that we are used to. Not they are comfortable because in the end, they'll you meet a tragic date with fate, but still want to keep positive here. Um, but yeah, yeah, you're going to have to choose yourself first. Ultimately, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't stop until you close your eyes for the last time. Thanks.
Mm, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Ryan just told me that the audio is fluctuating. Is anyone else experiencing like audio fluctuation?
Yes.
Okay. So hopefully, hopefully everything is clear. If you're unclear, feel free to just raise your hand, ask another question again. But I appreciate that feedback. So yeah, Ryan, not to put you or anybody on the spot, but yeah, can you think of anything that you're really proud of yourself and deserve to like pat yourself on the back that you've actually accomplished something, small wins, accomplished a small goal that you've had for yourself in the past weeks or months? Can you think of anything, Ryan? It's really important to actually be proud of ourselves and yeah, please.
Mm, I can't think of anything offhand, honestly. There's, it's not, my mind's already drifting towards what's not, so I don't really have much to say on that.
Hmm. Okay, no worries. So our next question that I invited the group here to share is, do we have any goals? Now, Christina shared her goal was to either goals or something that we're actually struggling with and want assistance with, support with, we want to get better at. So goals or problems. So Christina shared that she actually has recognized that she deviates from her amazing, beautiful, straight and narrow, like really awesome diet that she eats fully raw when she's at home pretty much. And when she goes out into social situations or in public or in areas where there's a lot more temptations, a lot more variety of things to try, she's noticed that okay, I actually slip up a little bit and I don't like the way it makes me feel energetically. And what she realized was that okay, I want to get better at that, at being consistent. And the reason that she hasn't been consistent is actually because she just didn't have a plan and didn't actually have a focus. She actually didn't have a direction or a goal to stick to. So we became clear on what she actually wants. And we developed a small miniature plan, which we don't know if it's going to work, but you got to decide something and try it, right? So she's decided to actually just have a plan when she goes into social situations and into town, and that she'll actually just be able to focus on what she wants and have a plan for, okay, I'm going to go to the market, get these fruits and juices. Or also when she thinks of going out to eat, actually thinking of and imagining the beautiful fruits, juices, and raw foods that'll be available because she likes that stuff and wants it. But in the past, she was actually focused on getting more denser foods, starches, and cooked foods, which we're not saying that anything's bad, but it's like in her subjective reality, she actually just doesn't actually enjoy the result of eating those things. So she knows she'll feel better eating raw. And yeah, what she actually wants to do is eat raw. And we have a plan for it. She has a plan for that. So, um, does anyone else have some goals that they want to try to, level up to or, greetings, Robin, Rocky, you've made it in. We just finished sharing some of our wins and accomplishments, pats on the back, some small wins that we have actually experienced in the past few. Oh, perfect. Love it. So you hear that I'm explaining, just telling Ryan here if we have any, or actually everyone, anyone else have any goals or challenges that they want to, some assistance with, some support with, and now is a really good time to air those out. Please, Rob, please feel free to share with your microphone.
Hi. light. Can you hear me? Okay. So I would say, personally, my wins for the past week were more so towards making sure that I'm in alignment with the goals that I have set in place. Um, and like rewriting my life story. So like doing the life vision script, like I finished that and I completed that. Um, and I've been making sure that I'm, like reading it every day and reaffirming my affirmations every day, meditating every morning, sometimes at night. So I've been really intentional and consistent with that, and so I'm very proud of myself for that. Um, my goals include definitely becoming more, eating more. Um, just because like when I get stressed or um so for anyone who doesn't know that I'm a full-time caregiver, my mom's been diagnosed with dementia. And so when I don't eat a lot. And it's not like like a fast type of not eating, it's like an unhealthy type of eating or not eating.
Like
So like
stress fasting, or like being under
yeah,
stress and not eating out of mindlessness, or focusing on the
right,
stressors, maybe.
right, exactly. And I have to remember to put myself back into the mindset of, your body needs nutrition. So like, for the past few days I've been completely exhausted and drained, and it's not just because due to a lack of sleep, it's because I've not been eating right as well. And when I eat, um like I'll eat like maybe one banana or like one date. So it's not, it's not a lot. So I gotta,
Why
just
do
make
you
sure that I'm more
why do you
conscious
think,
of just eating properly.
okay, if I may, why do you think it's just such a small amount when you do eat? Is it the lack of appetite, or the lack of intentionality in actually planning and making sure there's a calorically sufficient meal?
Well, I always make sure I buy enough. So like there's tons of fruit, but often it does go to waste. And it's because I'm just not planning
Is it a
to
lack of
eat
is it a
enough.
lack of appetite? Like, I understand what it's like to be under stress and you got problems to solve, because I go into these spurts where like I got problems to solve. I'm just fasting and focusing. I'm going workaholic mode. And it's not unhealthy for me because I can plan to make sure I'm hydrating, having some juices, but I'm probably not eating a lot of calories during those chunks of focused work, you know? So do you think that it's actually like just the lack of appetite when you get some bad news and you get really sad and it's just like, I can't eat I'm just not feeling it.
It's not a lack of appetite because I'll drink water. Like I'll drink a lot of water, like a lot of water. But
It's one problem. We'll get to that.
yeah, I remember you saying that. Um, and and I've been working to incorporate more distilled water. Since you told me that. So I got some distilled water to do that, and some more coconut water. Um, but yeah, it's just I don't know. It's a lack of proper planning due to putting her first instead of putting myself first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand. So, oh, this call has 1 minute and 20 seconds left because I'm on the free version of Zoom still. So when it
Mhm.
goes out, if this was the link that got you in, click the same link and just join back in. Um, Hopefully that works. If not, check the Dream Body Academy, and I'm gonna send y'all another place to jump on the call. One time it locked me out, and it was like, oh, you need to wait 9 minutes before coming back on. I'm like, anyways, but so yes, we can talk about what would be a proper plan for you, what would be a reasonable, practical, implementable plan to get more nutrients and calories in. But right before we leave, I want to help everyone understand that when you drink water, it fills your belly, but there's no nutrients in it. So you're actually creating this, you're stimulating the fullness and the satiation hormone in your body, but there ain't no nutrients in water. So distilled water is good for cleansing and flushing things out. But for nutrients, we actually need coconut, we need water with minerals and nutrients and electrolytes in it. So when we jump back in the call, I will give some suggestions on what we can do to actually hydrate in a nourishing way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's okay to not eat a bunch of food. Like you only eat one banana because